What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another very special edition of the Burnout Brighter podcast. My name's Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's events. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderfully lovely co-host, Destiny.
Hey.
And on this week's podcast, episode 116, we are joined by voice actor extraordinaire, the better half of Fun and Games, who, if you remember Stormageddon, we had him on a few weeks ago. But joining us today is Geoff. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Oh, Matt, thank you so much for having me. Destiny, it's so good to be on here. Thank you for saying those kind of things. I definitely feel like Mr. Storm is, if nothing else, the more visibly industrious better half of just podcasting in general. I am one of many lucky dozens that are on a regular podcast with Matt.
Yeah, that man just does not stop. We had to talk that length with him, but it baffles me how he has so much time to make so many quality products and how he finds so many awesome people to do it with him.
And he does it so enthusiastically. It's incredible.
But enough about him. Enough about Mr. Stormageddon. If somebody doesn't know you, Geoff, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you mentioned, Matt, I am a voice actor. I'm also I guess, regular actor. I've actually gotten asked that. I told someone I was a voice actor and went, how's that different from being like, I don't remember if they said regular actor or real actor. Either way, it was that wasn't the most awkward part of that conversation. But I am, in doing so and being that kind of an actor in New York City, I'm a nightlife performer. I am a musician, audio engineer, composer, podcaster. I just make a lot of noise and have a lot of fun doing it.
We were just saying how busy Stormageddon is, and you come in with that as if you're not as busy.
Wow.
It doesn't look as visibly busy because I don't have as much output as he does, and most of it is just fretting. Really, anyone who's been involved in the creative process, it is 98% fretting.
We're going to do this. We're going to try that. We're going to see how things shake out. Tell us a little bit about Fun and Games from your perspective, because we heard a lot about it from Stormageddon, but I'd like to hear a little bit about it from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun and Games is very much our celebration of gaming as a medium. I don't remember the full details of how Mr. Storm put it down on this podcast, but yeah, it started from the fact that both of us love talking about video games. We love talking in general. We love video games in particular, and the fact that for a long time, video game culture and video game criticisms and journalism and everything else outside of more official publications is built on blasting things. I feel like it's been a long time since we've lived in the mode of the angry video game nerd, but the idea and onus of it still kind of lingers over people's perception of gaming and gaming culture, as well as the most of what you hear about big news about gaming, especially about the gamers themselves, usually isn't great news. So, you'll hear about charity events and things. I love games done quick, but, it's that whole vocal minority thing as far as hobbies go. And so we wanted a place to speak positively about games, to enjoy where gaming has come, where it goes, the fact that I am such a huge nerd for like meta things and the idea of medium and how mediums tell stories. And there's so many different mediums and so many different ways to tell even the same story. And so video games as a medium it's a little up in the air as to how people see it. Is it an interactive movie? Is it just like reading a book? Are walking simulators games or stories or whatever else? And I enjoy having that space to discuss, well, what areas do video games excel in telling those stories and giving those experiences, in connecting with ourselves, and what landmarks exist, what shorthand, what are the Wilhelm screams of video games that, you see a Tetramino in a game, it's Tetris and you know what that is and what that means. We don't get into that in all these episodes, but these are the sort of ideas and thoughts that Matt and I were having when we decided we wanted to have a video game podcast, and one that wasn't necessarily a news podcast, but one that celebrated gaming as a medium, as a culture, as just something to love.
And I love that you bring that up, because I feel like gaming is still very much in its infancy. Like what we're seeing now and what we're seeing as the space as it is going to be vastly different than as it is 20 years from now. I mean, if you just look at the kind of, leaps and bounds that we've taken over the last little while, even the last 20 years, to where online gaming is now so prevalent, to find these different ways to share these stories and to talk about gaming in such an interactive way is something that I really love about the way that, you and Matt do your podcast, is because it does feel like a celebration. It is, you don't shy away from the crappy parts or from the parts that, aren't as always that awesome, but you guys really dive into the good stuff in a way that makes me feel happy to play video games, if that makes sense.
It does, and that makes me very happy to hear that. That's really what we're trying to do. We feel like it's very easy to find doom and gloom in gaming, and find doom and gloom in most things. It's easy to have negative opinions. It's easy to kvetch and bellyache about things, and to find very justifiable things to do so about. But to choose compassion, to choose joy, to choose kindness seems simple, but it isn't. It seems easy, but it isn't, but it is. And it is always a choice. And thus, our little hour or so every other week is choosing joy, love, and compassion for video games.
Oh, I love that.
I like
Make
that.
sure you guys...
Yeah.
Make sure you guys go check out...
We do also swear during that hour, so this
Curses!
I feel like cursing just spices things, just makes things spicy. I like it.
It's emphasis.
I fucking love it.
I fucking love it.
So fucking good.
So good.
I also have spent like 10 years or so with most of my survival jobs as an actor working with kids. So I have such a strong, like, industrial size switch for curse, don't curse.
Yeah. Same. We used to work with kids, so
Oh, nice.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we worked in South Korea teaching for a little while, so sometimes it's just kind of like, you mother...
My brother did that a number of years ago. He taught for a year in Korea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no way. Small world. But
Yeah.
so many people are doing that. It's awesome.
Hey, it was great. He was able to pay off the rest of his student debt by saving up while he was out there. It was a great experience for him. I would have gone insane in not fun ways. Not even fun ways.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot, and but that's awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed that. And yeah, I don't know, I'm the same way as you, Destiny. It's so stupid, but like as soon as I start hearing swearing, I'm like, I like this thing more. I have no good reason for it, but like just a good
Something you can relate to. It's fine.
Yeah, just a good fuck once in a while. You know what I mean? Just thrown out there and just let it
Everybody
linger.
deserves a good fuck, Matt. Everybody.
Here. Everyone deserves the good fucks that they want.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Perfect. What an awesome way to transition to talking about games that matter. Every time we have a new guest on the show, we always like to talk to them about a game that matters to them, a game that has gotten them through a tough time, or a game that they think deserves to be celebrated for one way, shape, or the other. So, Geoff, can I ask you about a game that matters to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that probably one that's gotten me through a tough time, and it was a recent tough time because it's, still 2021 right now, is Persona 5 Royal. Now, the Persona series, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool, as far back as I can remember, JRPG fan. The grind is real. The grind is in me.
Yes.
And the Persona series was one that I knew I was going to love the second I started playing it. But it's such a long game. Any one of them is well over 100 hours if you're even halfway playing it. So it's like, I don't know what to do. And towards the end of 2019, I downloaded Persona 3 Portable on my PS Vita. And 140 hours later beat that. And yes! My man!
My friend.
My Vita friend! I love you!
Oh, believe me. I even got Destiny to end up buying a Vita and stuff. I'm right with you. There's like 12 of us out there who believe in it.
There are dozens of us.
There are at least 10.
My Vita's somewhere over on my shelf over there.
It's fine. It's fine. I actually thought I had lost my Vita for about 3 months this year. I could detect when I last knew where it was. I was on a trip. I went up to visit that same brother I mentioned. It's the only one I have. Went up to visit him and some family up there. On the way back, I couldn't find the Vita, and I didn't realize this till like a week or so later. And I had to be like, look, I'm not accusing anybody of taking it. I genuinely think it fell out of a pocket, and someone doesn't know what the hell this thing is and just thinks it's a weird cell phone. I'm just identifying it. No one had found it, and it turns out that it was inside my duffel bag, I have the Prince of All Cosmos Katamari Damacy duffel bag.
Nice.
And that thing has an inner lining pocket. And I took it on a different trip. My a cappella group was performing at a convention. I'm just giving you a whole bunch of things. So many threads with this story, I'm aware. And I was unpacking that and thoroughly unpacking it. So I was opening every zipper. There it was. I think from like May till August, I was starting to ask around like every local video game store I could to try to buy a Vita, because if you haven't looked at the prices these days, it's like $200 to get one. And I was just like, I have a PS TV. That was how I got back into PlayStation, but it's not the same. So finding it was such a thing. And I definitely got it for Persona 4 Golden, which I have not played yet, but I played through 3. I loved it. It's so wonderful. I'm going to do a FMC run at some point.
Yes.
And Persona 5 was the one that I knew I could convince my wife to play with me. She is also a hugely avid gamer, and she has only in the recent years gotten into JRPGs, but it's very curated stuff. And so it was the right game at the right time. It was something that my wife had left her previous job and was looking for a new job and was like lining stuff up and, had a nice severance plan. So we had like about 100 days there where we could just play video games completely unbridled, untethered. And so 169 hours later, we played through all 3 semesters of Persona 5 Royal. And in addition to just being a wonderful game, a fun game, it was so great getting to engage in all kinds of shipping and headcanon between for me and my wife. We're not big on headcanon and shipping. My wife is a big fan of whenever like homoeroticism in Rivals gets to be too much, she just like puts her fingers up towards the screen and just goes, kiss, come on, kiss a catchy. But it was so fun to get to do that. And definitely with everything that has just been going on the last year and a half, entering into the 3rd semester where it's just, are you suffering? We're just going to create a nice reality for you where we take away everything that was wrong in your life. You don't get a choice in the matter, but aren't you so much happier now?
Right.
There were so many moments this is a safe place to feel these feelings right now. It was just nice to get to throw a bunch of time in there, to get to game with my best friend, with my wife, and to kind of have those just weird sort of, society is a little messed up, isn't it? Aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you want to steal some hearts and go ape shit?
Right. So it's just that punk attitude that comes with Persona. That's like sometimes you just got to do shit and see what happens.
And no matter how old I get, I will always be a little bit of an angry punk.
Right.
So it's just yeah, I'm definitely just like, hey, what are you doing there? Teenage Rebellion? Hell yeah, stick it to the old people.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, goddamn right. Yeah, this is like taking me back to my scene punk days in like high school, and it's just like, yeah, I'm mad at everything.
Yeah. What do you got? What are you rebelling against?
Exactly. Oh man, I'm so happy to be here to talk about Persona. Destiny's probably sick of it because I bring it up at least once an episode. It's my favorite series of all time, and Persona 4 Gold is my favorite game of all time. So it's just like, I love it with all my heart. I can't wait to hear you talk about Persona 4 Golden because that one is still my favorite. I think 3 has the best story, 4 has the best cast, and 5 is just the best overall.
That's what I've heard. A friend whose opinion I hold in high regard as far as games go. He was like, "You want to play 4, but play 3 first because you can't go back." Yeah.
Well, I actually did go back and still like fell in love with it, but it was like, dang. I finished 4 Golden and I was like, I need more. What else do I have? What else can I do? And I bought P3P right away and spent way too much time on that. So I'm glad that Persona was there for you. Like I can very much relate to it being there. I tried to get Destiny into it. And to be fair, Destiny, how long did you end up playing? Like what, 12 hours, 15 hours? Something like that. You put in like a good chunk of time.
You told me how much time to play and I held up my end of the bargain, but you did not hold up your end of the bargain.
I ended up holding up my end of the bargain
a few
months ago.
That doesn't count. But I put like, I don't know. You were like, play it for at least 15 hours or something like that. Yeah. And so I did. And like at the 15th mark, I was like, all right, I'm good.
That's fair.
Totally fair.
It's not a bad game. I just got really bored with the dungeons.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Something that I run into a lot is, games can be great. I just don't have to like them. and vice versa. There's tons of games that I absolutely love. And again, you're going to be hearing about my wife a lot. This is just my life. And we are avid video game collectors. We have over 1,000 physical video games. This is like our thing. And I'm definitely more of the like curator of things. I'm more likely to like read all of this stuff. So she's going, all right, I'm done playing this. I just want something like this. Like I'm the game sommelier here. Like
nice.
what do I want? And it's fun seeing what's enjoyable, what's not enjoyable. Actually, just the last few days, she decided she wasn't playing Dragon Quest XI anymore. It's just not her kind of JRPG. It's not like it's
fair,
too antiquated for her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, all right, well, we have The Witcher 3 for Switch. She loves the Assassin's Creed games. She's played Dragon Age, she likes open world stuff. Witcher 3 just isn't her jam either. She put a couple hours into that, and when this isn't working either. And again, critically acclaimed games, beloved games.
But
it's just not for everybody. It's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the joy. There's so many games. We can't play them all.
The Witcher 3. Absolutely love everything about it.
There you go.
Yes.
And I will probably get around to it, and it seems like hunting and crafting, and I am all about that.
Destiny's all about the especially with the ones that have a little bit more of a survival flair to them.
Yeah. A little bit of survival, a lot of Gwent.
Yeah.
I love things with card games.
A lot of Gwent.
I love card games.
I spent way too much time in Gwent, and actually because of what... Well, I mean, I'll get into this when we start talking about what's new. But okay, well, awesome, Geoff. Thank you for telling us about some games that matter to you. And I love hearing about the games that your wife cares about, too, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite
We
things.
need to do an episode where we have, like, a gamer couple come on. Because, like, we've been saying that for the longest time, and we've not done it. But invitation is open.
Mm-hmm.
I will see if I can get around to another podcast episode. It took 100 episodes to get around to fun and games.
Listen, we're
at
like
116.
So
we're kind of around the same number here. Like I just finished editing 115, so
that's perfect.
Nice.
Exactly. So we can swing that.
We'll get this.
Yeah, exactly. By 215, she'll be here.
Yeah.
Let's hop into some what's new. Dee, let's start with you. What's been going on? What have you been up to? I know people are dying to hear more about your Arcane update. If you've watched any more, where are you at with the sandwiches?
Oh my god, people are dying to hear about my update.
I'm dying to hear about it.
So that's at least one.
So we did watch an episode yesterday after shopping. Spoiler alerts. So we finally met Jace, and I knew that's exactly who you and Evan were talking about. Like, did she meet him yet? No, man, she's not even in that part yet. So we finally met Jace, and he's cute, he's likable, but like, I still don't care a lot about the characters themselves. So in the second episode, what's the girl's name with the pink hair? See, I don't even know her name.
Vi.
Kind of like, I guess, like, gives herself up. That's like the cliffhanger. And that's where we stopped it. Because I was like, she was wrapping presents. And I was like, do you want to watch the next episode? No, I was like, I don't really want to watch the next episode. And she's like, yeah, I was hoping you'd say that. So we ended up watching The Grinch.
No, that's a solid pivot, though.
Yeah. So
which one?
The
Though?
one with Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Ooh, a saucy choice.
But to be fair, I like the traditional 2D animated one more.
Well, yeah.
Likewise.
But I mean, like, Jim Carrey's is funny because I feel like I can laugh at that without looking at the screen. So, yeah.
Sure.
So, I mean, like, Arcane is still, like, we're still going to watch it and see what happens. But as of now, like, it's not grabbing me, and I don't know why.
I think it was the third episode that I was like, I'm in. Like, I need to, like, I'm waiting with bated breath for more to come out.
Okay. So maybe I need to get to that third episode. But right now, everything's just being set up, I think. Like, everything's getting set up, and I'm kind of just like, So.
Yeah, fair.
But we'll see. Other than that, what have I been doing? Well, we've been working, me and you have been working on we are going to do a series that's focused on mental health for the holidays, because we know during the holidays it's a really tough time for a lot of people. So we really want to give people some tips, and not from us, too, but from like professionals. It's not just us showing up being like, this is what you should do. From us, and just like, give them some resources. Because I know for me, like, I've been struggling the past couple of months, just with like my mental health and my anxiety and like depression and things like that. And it's not something I really like to talk about that often, but like it comes out in other ways, you know? So it's really important, I think, that we get that together, and that's what we've been working on. So I feel like that's what I've really been focusing my time on, and just trying to like self-heal. And I've started rewatching Sex and the City. And listen, okay, so how I feel about Sex and the City is, when I was a teenager, I loved it and I understood everything Carrie was going through, and Big was a piece of shit. As an adult watching it, I'm like, Carrie is so fucking toxic, and she overanalyzes every single thing, and she needs to get her shit together. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm Carrie. Because every guy I talk to or I like or I date, I'm overanalyzing everything. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I am terrible. I am absolutely terrible at dating. You can ask Matt. I'm so bad at it. I try, and then like either I get really bored and I'm like, I'm just done. Or, like, I don't know if I'm coming or going. And I'm like, does he like me? He didn't write back. But that doesn't mean anything. Maybe he's just busy. Because you just never know. I feel like dating is so hard today. It's so hard. Yeah. And I hate dating apps. And so I tried to get on Bumble because they're like, oh, you know, it's like forward thinking, women are approaching first. And then like I'll get on there. And for any guy who listens to this and is like, oh, I matched with Destiny. She's a bitch. She never said anything in the 24-hour span. I had so much anxiety about what to say. Like, I just don't know what to say. And I feel like everything I say is really stupid. So
Geoff, can we give you some pointers, Destiny, about the perfect one, for the perfect opener?
Okay.
Geoff, would you like to go first? Would you like to give Destiny the perfect opener? Because I have a really good one lined up.
Oh Jesus, this is on the spot. Also, you got to know, I suck at dating too.
No, but you must have done something right. You're both married.
I started dating someone I knew in high school after college. That's
smart.
It was smart. She was moving to the city to start an internship. We realized we had never been single at the same time before. We decided to go see a show, have a day, see how this would go, and we figured it would either crash and burn, or here we are.
Aww.
So yeah, I am abysmal to ask about dating.
That's so cute, though.
That's an amazing story.
That's such a good story.
We're vomit-inducing. I love it. I'm just giving my credentials here, okay?
Yeah,
so here you go. That's your opener. Be like, hey, I'm moving to the city for an internship. Would you be open to just throw that out there right from the get-go?
That's not gonna work.
How quick do you want to lock it down?
Right.
Actual conversation I had at the intermission of the show we saw from her asking me.
Oh wow.
She had other dates lined up and was like, I can make this a priority. Like, if you say you want to do this, I'll cancel those dates.
Well, wait a minute. How many dates had you gone on before she said that?
That was the first date.
That was the first date. Look at you, baller.
Look, again, this was someone I had at that point known for 6 years. We like I said, we knew each other in high school. We worked in theater festivals over the summers when we were both in college. We knew all of the other one's exes because we knew each other around the time we were the age where we started dating people.
Okay.
So there was a lot of that that air was already cleared.
Okay, so that's fair. See, like that would be too soon, Matt. I can't say that like on a first date.
So then you just need to go and just drop sup. That's it. Sup, and leave it in their corner and see what they say.
Mm-hmm. I do usually say something dumb like that.
Just
like hi.
3 letters. If you want to throw it 90s style, you could say "What's up" in all capitals with like 70 Z's in the middle. I also suggest that.
I imagine there's tons of gifs of just like animals or something doing that. Like
I tried once of just sending gifs as my opener. And nobody responded. I thought they were hilarious.
That is their loss.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Oh my God, I'm so funny. Look at the gift I sent. Nobody laughed.
I guess here's the thing I've learned and no one can share with this. Do what feels good for you, what feels true to you. And if people don't respond, well, that's not gonna... That wasn't the right match. I am someone who has tons of anxiety about everything, not even dating stuff, like just texting people, responding to messages. I'm a bundle of nerves. My wife was an equity stage manager who is now an executive at like a tech startup. She answers emails all the time. She helps me write my emails. This is important. But all of this to say, the one spot where I learned not to be nervous is auditions. Because the fact of the matter is, you can't control what goes through the heads of the people at the other side of the table.
Right.
You are bringing the best possible you, or the you that you think best fits this, because they have a need too. It's not just you going, hey, like me. It's, I'm here to solve your problem. You need someone like me. And
you the catch.
Right. And if they don't, and the way that it was explained to me is like, you're selling a crayon, and you're a red crayon, and you be the best goddamn red crayon you can, but they need a green one. That's not your fault.
That is solid advice. That is solid advice.
That is perfect.
I will try to be more like less anxious.
Whatever that is. None of that's a witty opener. I'm sorry.
No, that's
that's a perfect answer.
No, that's a great answer. I'm just always like so anxious. And I know the people that I'm more attracted to, I'm more anxious with. Like, there are like so many people on these apps, right? So like sometimes I have to stop swiping because I've matched with so many people, and that gives me anxiety. Because then it's like, now I have to say something to all these people. And for those of you on Bumble, like, you only have 24 hours to say something. And sometimes I can't think of anything to say within the 24 hours. So then you're just gone. And I can never speak to you again. Like, it's just gone. So that's what happens 80% of the time. I just don't know what to say. And it's like, oh my God, we matched. And then it's like, what do I say? And I'm like, oh, I have 24 hours to respond. I can think of something. And my ADD kicks in, and then I realize I didn't say anything. And so
think of a good, stupid, open-ended question to ask. And that's your question of the day for the people you match with.
That's so smart. I used to ask, like, tell me your best dad joke. That used to be like my thing. Tell me your best dad joke.
The one random question a friend asked me once that, like, and it was out of the blue. Like, she just texted me with no context. It was like, if you were a piece of furniture, what furniture would you be? And it's just that it always stays at the back of my mind. You should ask something stupid like that and just see what happens.
What piece of furniture would you be?
I don't remember what I said now.
Well, I'm asking now.
Crap, now I have to think about an answer. Give me 24 hours, okay? And
I would be a tackily, loudly upholstered storage ottoman.
Ooh, I love it.
I love that answer.
I love that.
I would be a stool.
I'd be
no further explanation.
A really antique, ornate looking glass.
Ooh.
I would be like, you know what? I changed my answer. I would be like a stop sign that somebody stole off the street and brought into their house and left it there.
Matt, that seems perfect for you.
Yes.
What's the coolest thing you feel comfortable admitting to having stolen? Now
that's a good. Oh, we should do that for the bonus stage. That's a good question. I was about to say it, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to save it.
We'll have to get Geoff on bonus stage and have that discussion there, because I have some stories about stealing shit. Oh my God, we're all going to get arrested.
College is a hell of a time, kids. Hell of a
Geoff,
time.
what about yourself? What's new? What's been going on?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God, sorry, I was just giggling and wasn't listening. It's hard to do. Well, the thing that I just most recently watched was I watched Tick, Tick, Boom yesterday.
The one with Andrew Garfield, right?
Yeah, Andrew Garfield.
It?
God, it was devastating. It's really good.
Like sad, devastating?
Oh yeah. How much do you know about the plot or anything?
Nothing.
Were either of you big fans of Rent?
I don't think I've ever actually seen it front to back, to be honest.
Same.
That's fine. I saw it on Broadway about 8 times when I was in high school.
Okay.
I'm that kid. And This is fun. I still have all the playbills. And so, like, the story of how Jonathan Larson didn't live to see the success of Rent. He passed away very suddenly the night before its first workshop performance.
Wow, okay.
And Tick, Tick, Boom is an adaptation of the one-man show that he put together, one-man musical show that he put together after a show that he'd been working on for years and years, Superbia, didn't get picked up. Like all of everything he put into it and the creative process and how stuff around him fell apart because of all this focus, whatever else. And this was kind of the next thing for him. And he put that together. And so the movie is, and the Tick, Tick, Boom itself had, I think its original mounted run post Rent was, I think, around 2001. Raul Esparza was part of John. And it was just a 3-person show. And so it's like Jonathan, female character, male character. They have those 2 other actors have like a main character, but they just cover everything else. And so this one, it's a much bigger thing. It's a very cool adaptation of the idea of, because the original show has a lot of, I mean, it's a solo show, so it's a lot of fourth wall breaking moments. They utilize that well. I was a huge fan of Tick, Tick, Boom as well. And so the things they changed and didn't change, I felt were great choices. If you're a Broadway fan at all, it is the best hidden object game I've ever played. You just find cameos everywhere, and there's weird little moments and things. And that's something I really love about film and animation and a lot of media these days, because it is created with the idea that you're going to pause and rewatch it or binge it or go back to it. There's so many more things that can and do get layered into it. And
that's so cool. And
this is one that just I have a lot of nostalgic love. I definitely look at the plot and people of Rent very differently now. Some not so much, but it's a very formative piece for me. And so getting to see this, and Andrew Garfield knocks it out of the park. He embodies Jonathan Larson almost scarily well. And apparently he learned how to sing and play piano for this movie. And I don't know how much of his own piano playing they did, but like definitely the shots looked good. Wow. And he sounds great. He held his own. There's an entire musical number where it's like Broadway elite and who's who in Andrew Garfield.
That's incredible.
I want to know how that man felt.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was super cool. So that was the one that, I at the end of it. And also and the whole thing, Tick, Tick, Boom, is like the name of it is from the fact that when Superbia went up, he was about to turn 30, and he thought like his youthful promise was going away and running out of time and everything else, and he didn't live to see 36.
Wow.
And I loved the show, and it wrecked me as a teenager, and I'm 35 now, and all of that realization, oh my God, I didn't know I needed that get that many tears out of me. But it's really good. And my wife had never seen any of Tick, Tick, Boom or knew any of that, and she loved it as well. But she's also a Broadway nerd.
Amazing. I'm going to have to watch this. I've heard really, really good things about it. There's a lot of like general like positive buzz online, and I love Andrew Garfield, so like I'm there.
Yeah, it's not a perfect movie. Nothing is, but I think it's worth checking out.
Nice. Cool. What else? What have you been playing lately?
I am hopping between Metroid Dread and Pokemon Shining Pearl on my Switch.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm actually extremely excited. I finally got to order a PS5.
Nice, congratulations!
I got to make the order today. I have tried Best Buy. I have tried Walmart. I have like been following all of the Twitter alerts that I can. And Sony lets you sign up for the opportunity to be invited to the chance to line up, all that shit. And I got the email yesterday. And yeah, it was after all of the other snafus and fuck-ups that were the cues of everything else. I was waiting for this to be another 2 hours of my life of just frustration. It took 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, I confirmed the order. Oh God, I didn't accidentally order the wrong one. It's all good. It's fine. This is great. And
that is amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah,
thank you.
Congrats. I still have not gotten one or placed an order.
I've been so jealous of Matt Storm and his PS5, and this is nice. And also because I live in an apartment, but I'm slowly dividing up where consoles are set up, and so my work desk, I've set up an extra TV. That's where my Switch dock is now. And now we'll put the PS5 in the living room, but now the PS4 Pro is coming with me. Nice. And so I think there's a lot of PS4 games I've been meaning to play just me, and I'm gonna get to now.
Nice.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's dope. How are you liking Pokemon so far? I'm like keep like on the fence about buying it. Like I'm such a sucker. Every time I love Pokemon.
Sorry, I'll be right back. I have to get this cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always like I love Pokemon. I grew up on it, and like for me, Diamond and Pearl were around the time that I started to fall off the handhelds, just because I stopped having like the DS and the 3DS.
Oh yeah.
And like I'm hearing okay things about it, but like, are you a fan of Diamond and Pearl? Like, how's this one shaping up?
I am a fan of Diamond and Pearl in a vacuum. I had Gen 1 Pokemon way back when, and then because I was so behind on my handhelds, I didn't play another Pokemon game until Diamond and Pearl. And
Okay,
it was in college, and a friend got Pearl and I got Diamond, and I like got to throw myself into that again. So it holds a special place in my heart. I would say I'm not too far into it right now, but it is Gen 4 as hell, for better or for worse. They have the graphics are updated. There's a number of quality of life updates that have come about in the last few generations that are there, and some that I thought were no-brainers that aren't. And so the sort of thing, like, you are able to see if you fought a Pokemon before, you can see which moves you have are effective, not effective. Great. Those sorts of things are good. Being able to like quick do some of the items, that's super good. Some of the considering how long it took to save back on the DS versions of Diamond and Pearl, I think they went out of their way to make the saving as fast as possible. And if not, it saves so quickly.
Perfect.
But yeah, I wish I could remember off the top of my head. There was definitely one or two things already where I just went, really? They didn't carry that over? All right. Maybe I think some of it has to do with how encounters worked. I really enjoyed being able to see what I was encountering in Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield wasn't perfect, but there was plenty of stuff there that some folks got down on that I freaking loved. And it doesn't look like they're trying to cram in any of the, since it's a remake, they don't have to do a new Gigantamaxing, Z move, Mega whatever, and I appreciate that. I loved Mega Evolutions, and everything after that has just disappointed me.
I agree entirely. Well, that's dope. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Yeah. If you like it, get it. If you didn't like Gen 4, you can miss it.
I'm so on the fence. I need to pick it up. As for myself, I've been more obsessed with Arcane. I've gotten to the last 2 episodes now because the 3rd act just came out over the weekend. And again, I don't care at all about League of Legends, but if you're at all curious of just awesome TV, go check this out because it's so good.
I've been hearing great things.
Yeah. And to Destiny's point, like I feel like the first episode is okay, the second episode is better, and then from then on, I think it was from episode 3. It's just nonstop. Like I've been absolutely loving it. Even my wife Senna, who's like she's been kind of like watching over my shoulders a little bit, and then we got to the point where she was like, I wish I could watch this Korean subtitles. I'm like, all right, I'm throwing up the VPN. We're gonna restart from the beginning, and then we'll finish off the last 2 episodes together when we catch back up. Because like if you're into it, I'm there. And then so I've been loving that. I've been playing a whole bunch of Halo Infinite, just spending way too much time in that multiplayer. Over the weekend, on like I think Saturday night, I played for my first time with Halo Saturdays with the Yumi and Capri crew because Sean and Ryan are on like every Saturday playing Halo, and there was like 25 of us in a lobby, like in a private lobby, just like playing Halo. Like it got to the point like we were doing like shotguns and swords, and then the last round that we ended off was instant respawns and rockets only, and it's like that kind of chaos I haven't had since like high school. I haven't had that kind of like a whole bunch of people in a lobby messing around in a game in like a really long time, and just like Halo has kind of really brought that back. It's so much fun. There are issues with the battle pass, which they are working on. They've made some changes already, which I hope they continue to adapt because it's still a bit too grindy. But the game itself it feels so good. It's so much fun. I haven't touched Halo probably since like Reach was the last one Halo that I was like really into. And this one feels fantastic. Loving it. And it's just seeing so many people all over it and being so positive about it. And I'm going to shout out motherfucking Mr. Badbit, fucking Joe over on PS Trophy Room, because he's way too good at fucking Halo to be a PlayStation fan. You piece of shit. We've gotten a little heated together. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I've also just been losing myself in Shin Megami Tensei 5. Persona, this is my first SMT after just falling in love with Persona. And like I really have to rethink the way that I play SMT compared to Persona, because SMT is truly a lot more difficult. And like the way that like it's almost like a grown-up Pokemon, and like you really have to abuse fusing. You really have to be very careful about which monsters you're bringing into which scenario, because they'll differ wildly if you're not careful. You'll get your shit wrecked real quick. And I'm just playing on the standard difficulty, but like the world is beautiful. The story seems interesting so far. I'm really enjoying it. So like Geoff, for yourself, like SMT, SM5, check it out once you get a little bit through that backlog, because it's really fantastic.
Yeah, I was able to. I picked up the Nocturne HD remake not too long ago. I got that on sale, so that's on the docket. SMT is I haven't made the jump yet, but I know I want to. And I've been wondering, like, what do I need to know? Okay, be ready to lose.
Yes, yeah. Like
right.
I'm hitting those save points constantly. Like I'm spending a lot of money on just healing. Like you really have to be much more careful. Like there was one like mini boss that took me like an hour to beat because like I kept losing, and then I had to go. I grinded a bit, refused my persona, like my demons, and then went back at it again. It's like you have to really be a lot more careful with what you're doing, because otherwise you're just gonna get your teeth knocked in. But yeah, that's basically being me in a nutshell. But let's mosey on over to some questions for Geoff before we hit the news, because Geoff, something that I'm very, very curious, and I asked Stormageddon about this as well, just because I feel like what you guys are doing with side quest, which I mean, Destiny is in the process or just finished or along those lines.
I finished it.
Yay!
Perfect. I love the project. I genuinely think it's such a cool way to celebrate people and games together. And like I asked Storm this question as well, but I want to ask you, what does side quest mean to you as an idea, as kind of like a platform? Because I think it's so special.
I agree, and I have to say at the top of this that more than anything, I am probably side quest's biggest fan, because Matt does so much of the production end on that. I think we recently recorded our sort of year-end wrap-up a little early, and I think in that I joked that, my 7.5% of work on that show is just kind of I'm here and my name's on the header, I guess. But side quests in general means so much to me because, as I'd said at the top of this episode, Matt and I very early on decided that Fun and Games wasn't going to be either a news show. We tried very early on being like, well, what are you playing right now? And it just it never quite gelled. But we do like celebrating specific games. And we like a lot of games, but we haven't played all of them. And y'all like games that I've never played, and vice versa. And there's so many others. And it's an area where people can speak passionately about something they love, not having to justify it per se. You don't give a review score. You don't have to give pros and cons. You can give a book report on it. You can give a personal anecdote about it. It's why it matters to you. It's why you enjoy it. And it's what you would want to tell anybody that wants to give you up to 20 minutes, be like, sell me on the game. Why? What's up? And we're all nerds. We love getting to do that kind of thing. And as well as the fact that it was something where Matt and I are very happy and honored to have had so many of the guests on our show that we've had. And we're looking forward to having more and bringing in new voices and new perspectives and ideas. And SideQuest is, I hesitate to call it quick and dirty, but it's like a very accessible way to get a lot of different voices, because no matter how open-minded or how on top of things Matt and I try to be, we're still two white guys in our 30s with a video game podcast, and for good or for ill, and being able to bring in perspectives that we could never possibly have, POC voices, female non-binary voices, other folks on the queer spectrum, or other white guys in their 30s with video game podcasts, whatever. They've got different opinions too. These things happen, but whatever it is. And it's also been a lot of fun for me because I'm finding new favorite games through it. That's another reason why I'm like, I'm probably SideQuest's biggest fan, because I'm the one who does our like Twitter questions for Fun and Games and those daily calls to action. And I often will be listening to the side quest the night before or the morning of to like base the question off of that. And sometimes I'll hear the episode and just go, well, that's going on my list, or do I have that? I got to play that next, or it comes up. And that's what it needs to be. And there's something nice in that. I feel that it is quietly revolutionary, and that revolutionary with a lowercase r, like that's not, it's more of a revelation in terms of we can just enjoy games and we can like the games we like. It's not a debate of like, well, I need to defend why I think Loom is the best point and click game ever, nay, the greatest game ever. It's just I like this game, I hope you like it too. And just having that level of a conversation about it, I think, is important to have. It's something quick. It's something that can just be part of your feed. And I hope that other people are finding new favorites, or even games that I already know and already love. I love getting to hear what someone else noticed in those games, because you're getting to have those like 2 a.m. end of the party conversations. Like, they're one-sided, but there's something wonderful in those sorts of moments and getting that sort of passion from people. So that's what I love about side quests.
I love that answer. Yeah, and side quest is so special. Destiny, I can't wait to hear your episode, because I'm very, very excited to listen to it.
I look forward to it as well. I haven't heard it yet.
Right?
Ooh. I think it's like going to be 127 or something like that.
Okay, so it's coming up.
Nice. I can't wait. So the next thing I want to ask you about is, like, I mean, you've obviously had a very, very storied history with drama and acting. So what I wanted to ask about is, because, you know, we're a video game podcast, how was the journey into VO? How did that come about? Like, when did that happen, and how?
That is sort of both sudden and was always there, I think.
Okay.
Because I'm one of those kids that was in the school plays from middle school onward, and I studied music in college, and because that was another thing that I did, I technically have a degree in jazz trumpet.
Nice. I love jazz.
As do I. I appreciated it before going to college, and now I have strong opinions about it, but that's because I love it. And it's just, it happens. You end up with a bunch of other college students with strong opinions about jazz. You gotta form your own or perish. But part of what I studied while I was there was audio recording. Mm-hmm. So I learned a lot about how, well, all of this tech that I'm using right now works. And I grew up with, like I'm sure a lot of other voice actors talk about, like, you grew up loving the voices you heard. Mm-hmm. Imitating characters, imitating people around you. I accidentally would do my own audiobooks for myself, because whenever I was alone, I would do dramatic readings of passages from books for myself. Just because
That's amazing.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was just a good, goofy thing. And then I found out later that that's just a warm-up exercise. Okay. you can get paid to do that. All right, cool. You know, and finding out that, yeah, people get paid to do this. Well, that's awesome. And so it kind of became a thing of, I try to string together work where I can. If it's voiceover work, it's voiceover work. If it's immersive theater, I have done so much immersive theater, which is its own weird thing. But it's, I don't know, there came a certain point where I was slowly but surely using so much of my college knowledge of recording and things. It's like, well, let me get a slightly better microphone, and let me send a few auditions to some stuff here. Let me find something there. All right, let me take some classes at this Midtown studio. Oh, cool, they produced my demo. Oh, cool, they're calling me for some stuff. Okay, I guess I'm doing this now. We're doing this now. Great, cool. At the moment, I've done one completed game, and I'm in production for another, or very early pre-production. The one that I've done was like a web browser point and click game.
But still, that's cool.
Oh, I know. And it was an example of one of my favorite bits of, like, tips for people who want to develop characters, whether for your tabletop game or for voice acting or whatever. So many great characters start as really bad impersonations. You know, if you think of a certain kind of character and you think of like a famous portrayal of that, do a bad job of it and then change it up a little. Like, do good vocal production. But I mean, even Alan Tudyk's performance as King Candy in Wreck-It Ralph is basically Ed Wynn from older Disney movies. That whole idea of just being like this the whole time. It's just the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. It's fine. And he's
that
the
was
grandpa.
Really good.
Right?
That was incredible.
This is what I do with my time. And I've also I'm coming out of a bit of a hiatus. Just when Sarah was between jobs, I decided that I was banging my head against the wall on a lot of things. When lockdown started, I just threw caution to the wind and did about a dozen of the most ill-advised audiobooks I've ever done. there was just so much fast turnaround on these things. There was so little quality control, but I was like, I need to work and I need to justify and I need to do these things. And it burnt me. And I didn't realize how much I wasn't recovering, but I've still spent the time, listening to characters and playing around with those things and getting back into the game of sending out dozens of auditions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like, can you give us a sample of like your favorite voice?
My favorite
like
voice.
your favorite one that like you always kind of go to, like, you know what I mean?
I go between. I am clearly a very effete, flamboyant forest creature of a human, and to defend myself against other larger, angrier boys from North Jersey, where I grew up, I definitely would try to have like a much deeper voice than that. Like this was sort of my main speaking voice for a while until I blew out my voice and then had to go to more vocal. Honestly, I can do way more voice. I have way better control over my instrument now, but with that same idea, I have like two distinct paths of if I'm like pulling something out of my ass, it's like it's meant to be big and bombastic. You kind of heard one of them before we started recording. I like, again, bad impersonations. I have my Brian Blessed and I have my Patrick Warburton. You know, Brian Blessed, it doesn't sound exactly like him. He sounds a bit more like this about entirely everything. He's tagged a photo of me on Facebook. When you get to it, it's a picture of a horse's ass. Just ignore it, Henry. I can't ignore it, Catherine. And
holy shit, dude.
That was incredible.
Thank you. And the Patrick Warburton is actually the voice that I did in the video game that I'm in, where they needed like a drunken innkeeper.
Oh my God.
So I just kind of came at it like this the entire time. You guys are nothing but trouble. Kind of thing. And
oh my God.
a lot of it is also where you go in the microphone. I can't be super loud as Patrick Warburton, which is why I got to get close there. But those are two go-tos in terms of I don't know, like.
No, that was dope. Like, you did not I know this sounds stupid when I say you didn't sound like yourself. But like, if I closed my eyes and I wasn't
sound
looking
like
at
very
you,
different to me.
You would be I'd be like, who is that, Matt? Like, who else is on the show?
I got a secret fourth person.
Oh my God, that's so great. Can you just do
like
announcements for us? Like,
happily. I love doing that shit. So much of my work is narration work, is like I did a whole bunch of like I did a bunch of crap for JP Morgan like a year or two ago. So it's like all of the fancy stuff because, you know, video games are great if you can book them, but I am non-union. So I get the paychecks where I can get them, and bank money. Look, screw you, JP Morgan, pay me.
Right.
And
yeah.
So any of those times where you just need to, well, here's the stupid thing with voiceover. Sometimes when doing like commercial work or internals, which are like narration for videos and things that just happen within the company. Anytime you have like a training video for a job you're working, that's an internal. You are, depending on this is the goofy thing, and I feel fine saying all this because A, I didn't sign an NDA, and B, these are out already. I did 2 scripts that were the exact same script, except one was for JP Morgan and one was for Chase Private Client. Same exact thing, talking about the same investment portfolio stuff. But because JP Morgan uses like billionaires and much richer people, we talk about how these things are good for you. Whereas Chase Private Client, you know, those are people investing $50,000 or $100,000. You want to be a little more even keel on these things, even as you talk about the same exact things.
Oh my God, I can totally tell the difference, though. Yeah. I can totally tell the difference.
And it's stupid. And when the... And look,
but it makes sense though, because I would like less likely listen to like the first voice for JP Morgan. I'm like,
it's a stuffy one.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's for me.
Nah.
I live paycheck to paycheck. Like the other guy.
And that's how you got to sound. You got to sound somebody like, hey, come on. You got like, hey, me too.
No, me too. But it's just funny. I would go with the other guy. Yeah. It's just setting me up.
Very, very fancy. Oh, he sounds like he knows people with money.
Right.
Yeah.
I too want to know people with money.
Right. Oh, that's incredible.
So something I wanted to know, because it's something that like I struggle with, and I know for that, you know, I play D&D, and I have a bunch of friends who are trying to get more and more into it. And one of the kind of biggest hurdles for them is the role play aspect, is the voices and stuff. Like, I get very caught up in my own head about it. How do you get over that? Or how do you like talk to yourself about it to like not focus on it? Because you know what I mean? I get so self-conscious about like the way that I sound.
Oh,
that,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, I guess I just get tripped up about it.
No, that's fair. I can come at this from a couple of angles. One, a thing that's often said within voiceover, especially in terms of voiceover education, is there's a handful of things that you really need to be a successful voice actor. And maybe fourth or fifth on that list is having a good voice. It's not, I am often told, and this is tooting my own horn, it's like, oh, Geoff, you got a great voice for voiceover. Cool. Yeah, no, I've worked hard on having this sort of presentational quality, but it doesn't have to be like that. Just the same way the red crayon, green crayon idea. Not every role needs this. Not every role needs a Brian Blessed. Not every role needs something high, whatever it is. And even if I can do something like it, they don't need necessarily me. And that whole thing of, I'm the only me, you're the only you. You bring the quality of who you are to it, and that infuses truth, and that infuses character already. And any of these, even when like trying to do something that sounds nothing like me, it's still me. And it's still an aspect of me, and you embody an aspect of you to do it. And in terms of Dungeons and Dragons, I am terrible about keeping details right and trying to come up with a bunch of things, because I will overthink. I will overthink. I will either write nothing or I'll write a novel, and it makes no sense. And so I was introduced to the concept of front story, which is you make a few key choices as to who that character is. You're not locking these down in some tome somewhere. I assume you're not playing them for like an actual play podcast. You're just kind of playing at a table.
Yeah.
Well, then who cares if the character changes a little from session to session? And sometimes you don't need to answer every question, but moral quandaries come up and you go, well, what would they do about this? And if you just let it come with a little bit, with a few already answered questions, you can lean on those or make a decision and go, that is what they'll do. And now you filled in that gap. And certain things about what they're dealing with. I played an arcane trickster character in a game. He's probably one of my favorite characters. That he started off sounding a lot smoother, a lot, more languid about things. But the way I played him was full ADHD. He either was overcautious or he kept getting shot because he forgot to check for traps. In one dungeon, I lost an eye. I nearly lost an arm. There were so many of those things, and I just let him get more and more placidly frantic.
Okay.
And it just, whereas normally it's a little more like, no, I got this. This is fine. It became a little more pointed. And how's your morning going? This is fine. We're going to do it's that kind of thing. And that carried through. That's not what I started with him. That's not the choices that I originally made. But because it's not being recorded, because it's not a thing that is, that the only consistencies are for yourself and the people around you. And you're telling a story together, and characters evolve. And so the way that you get over that, and again, it's simple and it's easy, but it's not simple and it's not easy, is to not answer so many questions beforehand. Answer a few, and then let the questions come up as you go, and let those inform you as you play. Even watching Critical Role, I got into watching Critical Role in lockdown, and I watched all of the second campaign, and I freaking love it. And if you watch the first episodes and you watch the last episodes, the wildly different characters, not even just revelations, the voices they use, the accents, everything else, those evolve and change. And them's professional ass voice actors. I'm just professional. They're professional ass voice actors. And those evolve too. So it's getting out of your own way is really the key.
I think that's good advice, like overall, just in general. Also, Matt, just have fun with it. Just have fun with it. Like, that's what I did when I did those stupid voices for the game. And they all sound absolutely horrible. But it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And because if you bring that carries through.
Yeah.
If you're nervous, it will show. If you are relaxed, it will show. And people connect with that. And even if you can't sit there and go, oh, well, they sound like this, or I hear this, or you can tell because of this tension, you feel it, you intrinsically know it, and you connect with it. And yeah, just have fun.
You can do it. I feel like you should do like an episode where you at least try 2 voices. Just try it.
Mm-hmm. I will.
Yeah. Because my guy voice is always a surfer guy. And everybody's like, your guy, he either sounds stoned or he sounds like he's like a surfer. And I was like, I feel like those are very similar.
Yeah.
So,
I like, if you want to break down into the ideas of like cadence of speech, of speed, of placement, of any of those, you can look at what you do and like you can overthink that if you want to. But I got into this business because I was going to obsess over it anyway. I may as well get paid for it. Not everyone, those things are like, you don't have to obsess like I do, but I'm going to obsess like I do. Yeah. But it's there if you want it.
That passion, that's the fiery insides. It's awesome. So the last kind of major question that I had for you before we head over onto news, unless there's anything that Destiny else wants to ask.
No, Matt, I feel like you got most of the questions covered.
Yeah, that's what I do. So it's twofold. Part one, if there was any existing character that you could be offered to do voiceover work for, who would it be?
Who?
That was fucking fast. Holy shit.
The Riddler. I would love to play the Riddler.
Oh, I bet you could do it so good too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like of the original animated Batman.
Yeah, or just some smarmy know-it-all. I just need some asshole over your intercom telling you how smart he is and how inevitable your failure is. That's all I want. I just want to be that guy.
God, I could see you doing voices for Teen Titan too. Like I'm just listening to you and I'm just like, I could see him doing that. And then I started thinking of what's that one that we just saw that was like really huge but like really, really brutal. Based off the
I haven't watched a new season of that yet.
Invincible.
Oh, Invincible.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, he could totally be a character in Invincible. Oh my God.
That is extremely generous of you.
No, okay, because listen, sorry, side story. That's what I do. I do side stories.
Please.
I did not like J.K. Simmons? Is that his name?
J.K. Simmons.
I did not like his voice as the dad. I felt like it did not fit the character's look. And so my other friend was like, no, it totally fits. And I like him as an actor. I just thought he sounded a little too old, a little too Western. I don't know what it was, but it just did not fit to me. I don't know why. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That happens. And I wish I could say I've seen more of Invincible than I have. I watched the first episode and then I got distracted because I too do side stories. I am very extremely ADHD, so I want to ride bikes, and I have. I watch things because my wife wants to watch them, and I want to watch them, and so we go. This is how I've watched Owl House. This is how I have watched those things. So otherwise, like Invincible was just for me. So I just kind of. First episode, I was
which
gone.
Which is fair too.
I liked
didn't finish it, but I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, so then the second part of my question then is if you could choose a video game studio and to start a new IP, they came to you and they said, Geoff, we're making this new game. Like, we want you to do a voice for it. Which studio would you want to work with? And we don't have to specify in terms of like niche or genre or anything, but like, what's your dream studio? If they came to you and like, we need you, Geoff, we need you.
Oh God. Listen, I'm a desperate enough man, but I'm desperate. Okay. I would, if I'm picking off the top of my head, like, look, it would be an honor, a dream, a treat to get to voice anyone in a Supergiant game.
Nice. Supergiant. Oh, and you would fit so well in a Supergiant game.
They're fun. They're good. I love their games. One of the big reasons I was so devastated that when I thought I'd lost my Vita was it had my physical copy of Bastion in it. Like, just such a...
It hurt. I can tell.
It hurt. I was missing a piece of my soul. When it came back, it was so good. So, yeah, those are ones where they take their time. By all accounts, it looks like they are doing video game development real well. Mm-hmm. And I would love to be at a point one day where I can absolutely, as an actor, choose and vote entirely with my morals. And I do that some. Absolutely. There's, I'm not going to advertise blockchaining or anything. And but the thing is, there's times where, do I have strong anarchistic ideas about capitalism? Yes, I still will take JP Morgan's money. And in the meantime, if
it's going to someone.
Right. That's the, either less corruption or more of it in my favor. And this is just a little bit of corruption. But like I'd say, if I could absolutely choose, I'd say Supergiant is top of the list.
Oh, I could totally see like a Transistor 2, but with like your smarmy narrator. I would love it. It would be fantastic. I'd be all over it.
Oh, I would love to narrate one of those games.
It would be so much fun. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. Watch
it. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. We're manifesting. Exactly. 100%. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Geoff. Let's hop over into some news, and because we have some shit that we need to talk about. I'm going to start off by pulling from Eurogamer. So I'm going to do a bit of a smorgasbord before we kind of dive into this, because there's going to be 4 separate articles that I'm going to be pulling from, but I feel like to kind of put together a comprehensive look at the story before we start talking about it. All of this will be from Eurogamer. I will call out each author as we go. The first article is from Matt Wales. Activision boss Bobby Kotick under fire after damning report into what he knew of workplace abuse. So the Wall Street Journal, like, shout out to them because they put together a fucking incredible report about this bullshit. Details a long list of incidents Kotick is said to have known about, sourced from people familiar with the matter as well as internal documents, prior to the revelation of July's State of California lawsuit, which called Activision a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. It's claimed, for instance, Kotick was directly informed of allegations made by a Sledgehammer Games employee that a male supervisor had raped her in 2016 and 2017 after she was pressured into consuming too much alcohol in the office and at work events. Kotick actually went on to threaten her with legal action. And there's a lot going on in this article, but I want to pull from a couple other sections here. There's another one where he called a former assistant and threatened to kill her, and left that as a voicemail. And then just basically went ahead and covered up for a lot of royal fucking assholes. So this came out last week, and then following again from Tom Phillips, 150 Activision Blizzard staff stage walkout following bombshell report. Activision Blizzard staff have staged a new walkout in response to last night's damning Wall Street Journal report. Around 150 employees gathered outside the Blizzard campus in Irvine, California, after a call from a Better ABK group, which asked workers to down tools. So there was a protest. They started talking about a zero tolerance policy in regards to abusers, which we heard Kotick talk about just a few months ago after these allegations started to rise up. And, the kind of defense at the time was he didn't know about it. He never heard about it. There was shareholders chiming in, also calling for his resignation. And basically, PlayStation stepped up. Xbox stepped up as about an hour and a half ago. Nintendo finally stepped up. And all across the board, all of them are basically saying that they're taking another look at their relationships with Activision Blizzard and with Kotick. And it's gotten to the point now where the board of directors stood behind Kotick and said, you know what? No, we're going to back him. It's totally fine. There were in-house meetings that they basically said, the workers asked, hey, this zero tolerance policy that you instated, and they flat out said, hey, it doesn't apply to him. It's okay. These things were a while ago. Forget about it. And now it's gotten to the point where they're like, okay, maybe he'll step down if he can't fix it. So it's just another massive fucking call to action, another massive report talking about how fucking broken this industry can be and how white men are just running around fucking rampant doing whatever the fuck they want. I think this is absolute garbage. It's the fact that the board stood with him is just fucking bewildering, but again, not at all surprising. So I just kind of want to open the floor up. I'm not going to throw it to either one of you. I'm going to whoever wants to chime in next to talk about this, because I feel like this is just I'm running out of words to keep fucking talking about this, and it shouldn't be happening.
That's fair. I mean, no, I think you're right in terms of it is assholes getting away with whatever the hell they want, and it's water is wet, and the video game industry has a lot of problems in how it's run. And I personally am enchanted, delighted by the, he'll step down if these things can't be addressed with speed.
Yeah. Which
is beautifully, intricately nebulous language for what the fuck does that mean? What is your timeline there? It can be whatever you want it to be. You're holding the goalposts there, buddy. And it's
just
yeah.
Destiny, where are you at?
I don't know. I feel like we'll see what happens.
Do you think anything is going to happen? Do you think he steps down?
The only problem I have with that is if he steps down, if the board is behind someone like him, they'll put somebody else like him right back in that spot because they don't see anything wrong with it, right? So
yes.
Maybe the fact that and I really hope that PlayStation and all of these other companies who said they're going to take another look at their relationship actually just cut them off.
Yeah.
There's no reason to take another look, right? We kind of all know, I don't know what you're looking for, but I would just cut ties because it seems like they're not going to make any major changes unless their wallets get hit huge. And so, but you know, I feel like it's a boys club and a lot of stuff can just be being said, you know, because they've
lip service.
Yeah. They like getting away with it. So why would they change it?
Yeah, he's the current scapegoat. All of the bad feelings shifts to him. Take him down. Put someone else up.
Put somebody else there. New name. Same shit. So I don't know how much of it's going to change. I feel like it's almost like all big business in the United States. I mean, same with child trafficking and all of the sex trade and all of that stuff. You take down one name that's been circulating because he's been fucking up a lot. But that didn't stop it. It's still happening. So, and there's no way that he didn't know what was going on. Even though, they've reported on this, there's no way he didn't know that was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if not specifics of specific incidents, he knows.
Yes. And especially if somebody filed a complaint with HR. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck HR was doing.
Defending Kotick and defending the fucking people who are running the show. That's all. I mean, that's one of the fucking shittiest things about, I don't know, realizing in my adult life is just how much HR is there to protect the company, not to protect you, right?
Oh, that's all. Yeah. It's always been like that. People think HR is there for the people, but
that's what I mean.
It's the resources, not the humans.
Yes.
Yes. Well said. Yeah.
Okay. And no, it's damn it, I had something, but it's the idea of. You think about the board standing behind him and it's sort of he's done good things for the company and this and that. Yeah, he's turned a good profit. And as well as the fact that good leadership means fostering a good environment. And if the environment is too large for you to be able to do that or to ensure that others are doing that, then your environment's too large. There's a lot of game studios that are too goddamn big.
Yeah.
But they need to keep making the yearly Maddens. They need to keep making the yearly sports games that make them the money. And like you said, it's unfortunate to think because what that company desperately needs and hopes of any sort of fucking actual change is to take out the board and Kotick with it, right? But like you said, D, it's never going to happen.
Well, what would be great is if they put a woman in his place, a woman who was I'm not going to let this happen. Someone who's not going to be a puppet. That would be absolutely great.
There was already a resignation of a woman who was one of the co-heads, and it's which doesn't mean your idea isn't a good idea. It just means that the hill is a lot steeper.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking ridiculous because if I remember correctly, she was instated as a co-head just a few months ago when that story broke, and literally 2 months later she stepped down, basically being they were already trying to pay me less, they were already trying to fuck around, and it's just you're the fucking co-head of one of the biggest development studios in the world. And
but they don't respect women. So
I know.
I'm not really sure what she thought was going to happen when she went into that position, which sucks. They might have made some promises, but you're going to step into a position at a company that is not only known for having these issues, but being sued by the state for having these issues. I'm not sure if you thought you were going to walk in there and do big shit, but I wish she would have stayed. Because I think that would have been important. But also your mental health comes first. And if it's fucking with you mentally and emotionally, get the fuck out of there. But I would really like a stronger female presence at all of these companies, right? That aren't afraid to speak up.
And maybe her choice to take up a co-head position was with the intent that she would have to resign, because we're talking about it now, and she was already in a part of Blizzard Activision at the time, and it's like, all right, well, let's see if they are following through on things, and if they don't, I walk and everyone knows. And here we are.
That could be it too. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Well said. Yeah. Well, we will continue to watch the story as it happens, because I'm sure this is not the fucking end of it. Just fucking be better, you fucking assholes.
Make better choices.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a delay before we wrap on some fun news. Saints Row delayed 6 months to August 2022. This is coming from Wesley Ian Poole over at Eurogamer. Saints Row has been delayed 6 months to August 2022. It was due out February 25th. Now launches on August 23rd. I, for one, am very happy about this delay, because January, February, and March of next year are already completely fucked with the amount of games that are coming out, and there just would not have been enough room for, you know, all these games to breathe. And I'm actually very excited for the Saints Row. I haven't played one in a long time, and this one looks dope.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Dee, I know you're excited about it too. And as we've talked about delays, but like, where's your head at this?
I never have an issue with delays. Like, if you want to give me a better product that I'm going to be putting my hard-earned money into, please do. Take all the time you need. Like, I'm still waiting for them to make another Bully, and they haven't even announced that they're ever going to do that. And I'm still waiting patiently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One of the great virtues to cultivate as a gamer is patience, really.
Right.
I mean,
Geoff, what about you? How are you on Saints Row?
I actually have never played a Saints Row game. I'm familiar with them. I got 3 and 4 in some sale a while back and have not put them into my system yet.
The internal backlog.
That's my metal band, and the eternal backlog. And so I do want to play it. Like you are 2 more names on a long list of people that are like, you like it, I need to play it. So, you know, I haven't started yet. When it comes out, it comes out. And yeah, as somebody who, well, my PS5 is now in a race with my analog pocket to arrive.
Nice.
And that's one where, you know what? Chip shortages, boat stuck. Like I've waited for something like the analog pocket forever. I got it with the Game Gear adapter because I am a secret, fervent, not so secret lover of the Game Gear, and I'm excited to get to play that in HD now. But as long as it takes to get here, I'd rather it be good. I would rather those that are behind it not be worked into the ground. To the same things we were talking about with Blizzard Activision, but also stuff like CD Projekt Red and a lot of other, and Ubisoft and other large studios, and the idea of crunch. I'm keen to wait. Maybe it's not convenient to the news cycle. Maybe it's not whatever else, but I'm going to feel a lot better about the game.
I'll say this. I think for everybody who's complaining about like games being like put on hold, I know you guys have tons of fucking games you haven't even played yet.
Yeah, get over yourself.
I absolutely know that you do. Go play one of those games that you bought during a Steam sale and just chill out until it comes out.
Yeah. If you actually do not have a backlog, I may suspect you of criminal mental illness.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Well said.
Actual cartoon villain insanity.
Long mustache twirling, like, yes, I've finished my next game. There's nothing left for me to play.
It's either that or it is like the Animaniacs version of Hannibal Lecter.
Oh my God.
Like,
I remember that.
No backlog. Nothing.
Fava beans.
Yes, fava beans. So yeah, exactly. Play your backlog, people.
Yeah, get through it. To add another game onto this for our last story, we're going to be talking about a report coming from Tom Phillips. Warner Bros. Crossover fighter Multiverses officially announced. Multiverses, the upcoming Smash Bros-like platform fighter from Warner Bros, has finally been announced after appearing in a fuck ton of leaks. Tom Phillips didn't write that. I changed it a little bit. The game will be free to play and launch on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox in 2022. We've already got a bunch of confirmed characters like Batman, Shaggy, Superman, Bugs Bunny, Harley Quinn, Tom and Jerry, Finn and Jake from Adventure Time, Arya from Game of Thrones, Steven and Garnet from Steven Universe, and a whole lot more. Some of my favorite things about this, they're actually getting a lot of the original voice actors. Estella's coming back for Garnet. Kevin Conner's coming back for Batman.
Yes,
fucking right, exactly.
American
So like,
boy.
there were reports about this game as it was leaking that apparently looked cheap. I think it looks cartoonishly awesome. I think this game looks dope. If it isn't microtransactioned out to shit, I'm there. This game looks adorable, and I'm actually excited about it.
Well, it should look cartoony.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
Like, what were they expecting? Like, it's based off of cartoons.
Right?
You know, and Smash Brothers is the pinnacle of serious design.
Yeah.
And I mean, I am calling this in my head Super Smash Mugen at the moment. But really the only issue I take at the outset is I don't like that all of the characters seem to be the same size.
Yeah. That's true.
I would like for them to... Garnet and Steven should not be the same height.
Yeah, no.
Especially if it's like little boy Steven. This isn't Steven Universe Future. Steven needs therapy, Steven. This is excitable boy adventure,
I love that
Steven.
You threw in there. Needs therapy, Steven.
Steven,
no.
Future,
I know. I mean, wouldn't you need therapy after all?
Oh,
that?
God, yes.
Oh, fucking right.
I appreciate them like starting to tackle that. Like Steven Universe, it's
Absolutely.
a few years past, and like, yeah, it is some great shoulders for future giants to stand upon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm happy for that. But yeah, like little boy Steven should not be the same size as Garnet and on those ends of things. And so otherwise, yeah, like let's get goofy with this. I noticed that they mentioned in the article original characters like Rain Dog, a cross between a reindeer and a dog. That they didn't show in that trailer.
So Rain Dog does appear very briefly. It looks like a green, like kaiju almost. So like I'm very curious to see what else is going to be out there.
Okay.
And you know what? You make a great point, because seeing like Jake from Adventure Time, the same size as basically Batman, weirds me out a little bit. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable.
At least not without changing
Jake
his size.
You upset? Yeah, because I was like, Jake can change his size.
Well, yeah, but Jake fluctuates, right? Usually, he's smaller, right? Just seeing him eternally the same size as Batman, I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? That's what I mean.
It's a touch uncanny valley. Yeah, you're right.
And getting Matthew Lillard back as Shaggy and them going with the memes, Ultra Instinct
full
Shaggy
meme.
is just... I love it. I love how
some
people were like, it's cringy. I'm like, fuck no, lean into it. Why not have fun with it?
You know what's cringy? The
What?
Cowboy Bebop live action. That's
Did you watch it
yet? No, and I'm not going to.
All right, then.
All of my friends who are like, just give it a chance, have come back to me and told me you were right. Even Asia messaged me today, and she was like, I just want to apologize. I was like, apology accepted.
Did you see that one clip circulating online of the blackmail clip? That's the one that I saw, and I was like, no. There's that, who was, I don't know Cowboy Bebop. I never watched it. What's his name?
Jet,
thank you. He's talking to some like older woman, and he's like, is that blackmail? And she's like, it is, because you're both black and a male. Something along those lines. Like that is like, I don't have it verbatim, but that is
That's
said.
super cringe. First of all, because Jet's not supposed to be black. So why call attention to his color there if you're not going to? This is what I hate. I hate when they just take an established canon character and change their race, but do not think about all the things that affected that person to the point of who they are. Like Black Jet is not going to approach things or see things the same thing as White Jet saw them.
Right.
And people are not going to react to him the same. So like, just stop doing it. Stop taking characters and just changing their color and being like, well, you know, they'll be the same person. No, they fucking won't.
And while I understand the design as well, because Jet's English voice actor, Bo Billingsley, is black. And so, okay, continue with that. This works. And if you're going to make it a thing where everything's a little more colorblind and this is all fine, cool. But it doesn't seem like they're going that way.
No, especially if she made that comment.
Exactly. That throws that right out the window.
Yeah. Well, what about multiverses? D, I know you're not massive on Smash Bros, but this takes a lot of properties that I know we both care about. Are you going to play multiverses with me at least a few times online? It's free to play when it comes out next year?
Yeah, no, I'll play it with you. Listen, the reason why I'm not okay with Smash Brothers, let me just tell everybody this right now.
All right.
There's too much going on the screen, and I have ADD, and I cannot focus on like what's happening. And it's just very bright. So I'm always falling off an edge because I think I'm looking at my character, but I'm not. I'm looking at something else, and then I fall off an edge, and I can't play it. It's just too much going on for me. I will watch other people play it, but me, I can't.
I accidentally kind of found my cheat code as an ADHD human playing Smash.
Oh, yeah?
I main Mr. Game & Watch because you are never trying to win with Mr. Game & Watch. You are trying to sow eternal chaos. I will stand on this ledge and throw bacon at you, my good man. You shall have bacon, and if you approach, you shall have the hammer.
That can be Eternal Backlog's first debut album is Eternal Punishment Game & Watch.
Yeah, and you know what? He's monochromatic, so I can always find him. Like, I'm not going to mix him up with anybody.
Yeah.
I originally picked him out of just sheer trolling of my friends back in the GameCube days, but like, you know those times you make choices, you go, oh, this is just stupid, and you go, that was accidentally really smart shit.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh god, I hope people don't expect more out of me.
I might do it then, just to like, because I feel like in those games, whenever we play with like a bunch of people, I'm just trying my best not to get killed. So I'm just hiding like the whole time, or like climbing to like the highest point. And like Matt and Senna and Natasha will be like, let's go after her together. And I'm like, that's not fair.
I have to tell you my wife's strategy for Smash Brothers. She mains Kirby. She has mained Kirby since the N64 days, and she has 2 strategies. Eat you and hit you with your stuff just whenever you get close, and fly overhead and stone drop. And if there's enough people going on, like, she has the most predictable strategy, and it's so annoying how effective it is. I know exactly what this woman is going to do, and she hits me with the rocks so many times. She hits people who are good at the game. I'm not good at the game. I'm just here to have a
good time. Yeah.
I'm here to have a good time, and I'm feeling so stoned right now.
I'm just here to throw bacon at people. Yeah, it's like the classic Pikachu thunder strategy where they just sit underneath something and just keep bringing down thunder.
Oh my god!
Exactly. And you're like, stop cheesing it. Learn to avoid it.
I need to learn these cheater things because I'm just running around scared the whole time.
Yeah, it's a party game. Learn a couple cheese tactics and have a good time. You're not there to win. You're there to cause some chaos.
Matt's always trying to get me to play, and I'm always like, nah.
And hey, if it ain't your thing, it ain't your thing. That's just what's worked for me.
I'm gonna try it.
Nice. I think Dee's promise of Smash Bros is a great way to end this. But before we go, Geoff, thank you so much of joining us. It was an absolute pleasure. It was so much fun talking to you.
Oh my god, this was such a joy, Matt. Daz, thank you so much for having me. This has been such a joy. Thank you.
You are welcome back anytime in the future. Please come hang out with us. But before we go, hit us with your plugs. Where can people find you?
I am mostly to be found on Twitter at Geoff, Geoff makes noise. God, I am not going to give a definitive schedule as to when I am going to start Twitch streaming again. Part of my hiatus in general was I was regularly streaming, and I'm going to get back into it. I usually play PS1 games because it's my favorite system, and people need to know some of the stupid games that are there. I try to stream indie PC games where I can, show off the smaller studios, because that's where a lot of great ideas and future of gaming comes from. And probably the first thing that's going to come back for me is Friday Fantasy, where I am sequentially playing through as much of the Final Fantasy series as I can. I'm somewhere in the middle of Final Fantasy 2. I didn't get far, but I'm making my way.
Final Fantasy is my shit, so...
Yep.
And actually, I think this is a good place to... You're a good group to say this to. I realized that the Vita is the only system, or it's the system that has the strongest through line of Final Fantasy. Through PS1 classics, PSP games, whatever, you can play Final Fantasy 1 through Final Fantasy X-2 on the Vita and no other system.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a weird discovery for me, and I'm like, all right, I gotta. The whole Friday Fantasy thing started because I was drawing attention to that.
Oh my god! Yeah,
and
I
it went from there.
That.
The Vita is JRPG haven. There's so much.
It's gold.
I need to play mine.
Right.
I've been, now that I'm like riding the subway again to go to like a cappella rehearsal, to go to things like that. That's been my go-to. It fits in the pocket a little easier than the Switch. And yeah, any projects that I'm working on, stuff coming out, I'm gonna post about it on Twitter first. So it's a good place to find what I'm up to.
Perfect. And we'll have the link in the description below. Geoff, thank you once again. It was an absolute pleasure, and I cannot wait to talk to you again in the future.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Destiny?
Yeah.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, no, you'll see me tomorrow.
I know, but for the viewers.
Oh, for the viewers, we'll see each other next week.
Yeah. Peace out.
Bye.
Or where are you at with the sandwiches?
Oh my god, people are dying to hear about my update.
I'm dying to hear about it.
So that's at least one.